Today, I want to handle something to do with the leadership, especially in our Pentecostal churches. It is very easy to open a church, and possibly because God has called you, and yeah, definitely every pastor will always tell you that he has been called by God to open a church. Or sometimes maybe he has gone through college and he has decided to open his own ministry. But in as much as whichever way you have been called, there is always a challenge that has bedeviled every minister of God. Because the model that Jesus Christ gave to every preacher of the gospel is very unique and very different from what has been adopted today. When you look at the leadership system that has been going on in the entire world, especially the political, the monarchy system, and every other leadership style that has been adopted, the king who has been at the epic of leadership is always unreachable and untouchable. When you look at, for example, the kingship system that was in the monarchy system, or in the temple or the Jewish system that was running at that time during the time of Jesus Christ, when we look at it from the point of view of the Jewish system that was established, you find that the king was at the topmost. Actually, it was done in the pyramid system, such that the king was so much alone at the topmost. And then he was followed by the lords, the vassals to the king at that time. And then the hierarchy followed like that. We had the knights, the vassals of the lords. Those are the servants who served the lords. And the lords served the king. And we also had what was called the knights. And we had now those who are doing the lower cadre, the peasants, the farmers. Those are the people who do the protection, and they benefit the king, because every tax collection that was done at that time was done for the benefit of the king. And the system now that is been brought to us in the Christian model is so unique and different from other systems that run the world. When you look at the Hindu system, for example, you will notice that at the topmost of it was one who was called the Brahmin. The Brahmin was a priest, and he was followed by what was called, these names might be difficult to pronounce, but it's called Kshatriya. Those are warriors of kings. Those are the people like the bodyguards who would go for war to protect their own kingdom and the kings themselves. Thereafter, below them, we had Vaishya, who were the merchants and landowners, like the landlords and the people who owned the property, or simply they held the economy of the kingdom. Then from there, we have the Sudra, so the Sudra, the commoners, the peasants, the servants. And much below, we had the untouchable outcast, out of case. These are the lower cadre, the ones who would wash the latrines, they would wash the streets. Those are the people who are like beggars. That is the system that has been established in the world. Now, but when Jesus comes now, he gives us a very unique system that is very hard to follow. Though, when we look at, for example, the book of John, chapter 12, verses 21 and 22, we see there is a system that Jesus was established, an hierarchical system. Though we are not told that it is him who established it, but we see the disciples following the same. For example, here he says, the same came therefore, these are the Pharisees who came and they wanted to capture Jesus, but they had some reservations. So the Bible says, the same came therefore to Philip. The Pharisees came to Philip, which was of Bethsaida. That's the origin or the home place of Philip, and desired to see him. To see who? To see Jesus. Sir, we would want to see Jesus. What does Philip do? This is where we see the hierarchical system that Jesus Christ established. Philip cometh and tells Andrew, and again, Andrew and Philip went to tell Jesus. That is a system that has been established, that before you get to Jesus, there is an hierarchy. either the disciples established it by themselves or Jesus established it uh, by himself. However, in other manuscripts, when you look at other chapters, you find that Jesus has given us a different system of leadership by servanthood leadership. Because the entire leadership system, which was originated from Egypt and gone throughout the world, is where the king is the topmost and unreachable and untouchable. But Jesus touched the commoners, the rejected, like the Indian case where the commoners could never be touched even by. So actually, at some point, the king didn't know that they existed, but only by hearing that there are some people of that caliber. But so Jesus now gives us a different system of management of servanthood, where whether you are the bishop, the topmost in that ministry, or the topmost pastor, or the highest authority in that ministry, which is given depending on your understanding of the gospel. Jesus has given us a system of servanthood, that is servitude. You are a leader, you are the topmost, you are the bishop, but come down and touch the common man. However, in the current system of most denominations and pastors and ministries that we have today, they have reached a point where we form a clique of protection where we have security personnel, we have the lords who protect us, and we live even in areas where we are completely detached from our people. So, in the training system that I'm going to provide in the next video, and I pray that you subscribe. Maybe you comment on that so that we can keep updating each other. Is that we are going to provide the system of leadership that Jesus established on earth. And if this leadership style is not adopted, then we are running a cultic system, which is establishing a monarchy system where now the honor of the ministry is at the epic where nobody is going to reach them, and they are untouchable, and they are the lords of the ministry. Thank you very much and welcome as we go to the next episode.